What is the definition of a spiritual experience, and what does it have to do with recovery? A spiritual awakening? Well, that's a whole other thing, and we're going to talk about them both here on the Sober James live stream of addiction recovery at 9 p.m. Eastern Time every weeknight. It is said that we have to have a profound change in the way we see the world to recover from addiction. This is sometimes referred to as a paradigm shift or a spiritual awakening. Feel free to chat. This is a podcast where you are my guests and I am your gracious host. While you guys trickle in, let's read the official definition of a spiritual awakening given to us by our friends, the AI robots. A spiritual awakening is a life-changing experience that can involve a deeper awareness of the world and a greater sense of purpose. It can also be described as a call to a higher consciousness or a shift in worldview that can transform a person on a personal level. Some other terms for a spiritual awakening include enlightenment, bliss, or discovering nirvana. You may hear me talk about a spiritual awakening on this channel, and you may be like, oh man, this religious cult, I don't want to hear about God and all that. But a spiritual awakening in this sense, in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, my chosen modality for sobriety, it's mentioned 4 times, and well, the definition, it is defined 4 times, and 2 of those have God in it, and 2 of them do not. Let's read what Alcoholics Anonymous defines a spiritual awakening or a spiritual experience as. There are 4 definitions of a spiritual awakening in our major works. 2 mention God or a higher power, and 2 do not. All 4 mention a major change in our attitude or perception. Therefore, the latter seems to be the defining element in this phenomenon. The one that doesn't mention God is what they're saying here in aabookclub.org. There are 2 first-hand accounts in the Big Book of sudden experiences leading directly to God consciousness. An appendix, The Spiritual Experience, was added for the expressed purpose of explaining that this type of experience is not universal. I have that right here in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. The Big Book says, the great fact is just this, and nothing less, that we have had a deep and effective spiritual experiences that have revolutionized our world attitude towards life, towards our fellows, and towards God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in the way which is indeed miraculous. Now, for all you atheists and agnostics out there, I was an agnostic for most of my life until I had to recover from the disease of alcoholism. I had to have a paradigm shift, aka a spiritual awakening. That was from page 25 of the Big Book, There is a Solution. Hey, Miss Ford, how do you like the thumbnail? I'll go ahead and read a little bit more on that. Here from page 27, Dr. Jung is the letter from Dr. Jung, J-U-N-G, a world-renowned psychiatrist, I do believe. His letter to Roland H. goes as follows. Here and there, once in a while, alcoholics have had what we call vital spiritual experiences. To me, these are phenomena. They appear to be in the nature of a huge emotional displacements and rearrangements. Ideas, emotions, and attitudes which were once the guiding forces of the lives of these men are suddenly cast to one side, and a completely new set of conceptions and motives begin to dominate them. I can tell you from personal experience that this is absolutely true. I'm sure you noticed I'm a sweet and kind person now. I even curse less, and I'm a ex-United States sailor. I haven't been in a fist fight in public in about 48 hours, and I'm a changed man. Well, get back on your meds there, Miss Ford, unless you have a taper and plan to getting off of them. What's up, Mike Delian? Mike Delian is describing his spiritual awakening right now. He finally realizes that this is from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not pushing it on you. I'm not saying you need it. I am just reading what has worked for me and what makes complete sense in my world as a recovering alcoholic. It reads as follows. He finally realizes that he has undergone a profound alteration in his reaction to life. That such a change could hardly have been brought about by himself alone. What often takes place in a few months could hardly be accomplished by years of self-discipline. With few expectations, our members find that they have tapped an unsuspected inner resource which they presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves. Their own conception. We have to have a paradigm shift as addicts, I have come to believe, and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous believes. But I have seen it to be true in myself without a different view of the world, without different thinking, different actions, different perception, without a faith in something other than myself, without a switch from helping myself to helping others, without a change in behavioral habits, I have not recovered in the past. Until my personal spiritual awakening, which I've had spiritual experiences before. At the beginning of this channel, 5 years ago, 2018, I was deep in AA as well, except I was still agnostic. And I pretty much thought my tiny little, insignificant, minuscule opinions about God were greater than the necessity for it. Until I realized that the percentage of things that I don't know far outweighs the percentage of things that I do know, which I can probably count on one hand, the things I know. And I used to think I could count them on two hands at least. I used to think I knew a lot. Until my spiritual awakening, I realized that we don't really know anything. The things we think we know are either based on our opinions or some blog. All right. Let's continue. Daniel Poppycock. I just reinstated my Instagram. I posted a short, and I communicate with Daniel on Instagram. It's in the link on my channel if you guys want to connect with me on Instagram or TikTok or, well, I'm not sure what else. But he is either working or not working right now. You know what I mean, man? All right, the last reading is from the 12 and 12. Oh, here's a short one. Most of us think this awareness of a power greater than ourselves is the essence of a spiritual experience. Our more religious members call it God consciousness. Not all of AA, in fact, AA has no view on religion. Religion is different than spirituality. A spiritual experience can be defined without the word God in it, as a paradigm shift in the way that we view the world and the way that we think and behave. And I have had that. This agnostic has accepted that I am not the highest power in the universe. My opinions, my ideas don't rule. They may sound good because I choose to call it God, because why reinvent the wheel? And I have no other name for an incomprehensible, all-powerful being that I put my faith into, because it's an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety. Have you ever decided that, you know what, you've kind of had it. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever is. It is what it is. Life on life's terms. I'm sick of trying so hard. I'm sick of sweat, blood, tears, and white knuckles. I'm just gonna sit back and let life happen. That is a spiritual experience. Now, to trust in, you can call it God if you want. My sponsor asked me, how do I see God? As an agnostic. And he was an atheist, which is someone who adamantly disagrees with the theory of God. And until he was desperate enough and had to recover, he didn't accept a God. But let the right person say the right words to you if you are an agnostic or an atheist. And let alcohol beat you down into the ground for 2.5 decades. And then tell me you don't have some foxhole prayers. There are no atheists at war. And addiction is a war. And let me just tell you the truth. You and your self-will, me and my self-will, are at a disadvantage in this battle. We need a power greater than ourselves. This last one's from the 12 and 12. Maybe there are as many definitions of a spiritual awakening as there are people who have had them. But certainly each genuine one has something in common with all the others. And these things, which they have in common, are not too hard to understand. When a man or a woman has a spiritual awakening, the most important meaning of it is that he has now become able to feel and believe that which he could not do before on his unaided strength and resources alone. He could feel and believe that which he could not do before on his unaided strength and resources alone. Us salty alcoholics, us experienced warriors, us just pretty much almost dead alcoholics have been trying our own strength and resources for the entire time. Sure, it works. Sure, it can work for years on end. But there's going to be blood, and there's going to be sweat, and there's going to be white knuckles. And it will run out. Self-will has a limit. We are faulty creatures. We're not perfect, and none of us claim to be perfect. When we admit we are powerless over alcohol, that's a step in the right direction to a spiritual awakening. He has been granted a gift which amounts to a new state of consciousness and being. He has been set on a path which tells him he is really going somewhere, that life is not a dead end, not something to be endured or mastered. And in a very real sense, he has been transformed because he has laid hold of a source of strength which, in one way or another, he had hitherto denied himself. That was me. He finds himself in possession of a degree of honesty, tolerance, unselfishness, peace of mind, and love, of which he had thought himself quite incapable. What he has received is a free gift, and yet usually, at least in some small part, he has made himself ready to receive it. That's from the 12 and 12 if you're interested. If you want to read it for free, there's the internet, but there's also an app called Everything AA. Now, as per last night's part of my spiritual awakening has been this. What up, Bonnie? How goes it? Self-will didn't work for me, Bonnie says. I thought it could. We all thought it could. That's what they've been telling us since kindergarten. You can do anything you put your mind to. Oh, you have such a great willpower. Good for you. No. Bad. Bad. Willpower will drive an alcoholic to the liquor store. Willpower, even though it is aimed at staying sober, will cunningly, bafflingly, and powerfully flip the script on that ass. I tell you this from immense experience, and I now take it as a fact of addiction, alcoholism, and in turn, recovery. And that's why, well, as per last night's stream, I will not disagree with anyone's. No, let's carefully word this. I am not going to shove the program of alcoholics, which I have found salvation in, down anyone's throats. If I forget myself and I get too AA-ish and big book thumpy-ish, please let me know. But what I will try to do is carry the message that has worked for me. With that being said, Bonnie says, yeah, I didn't realize it, but I was definitely addicted. Right. Addiction is a complex spectrum of definitions. There's physical, emotional, there's mental addiction. And it's all so vague and elusive that we need a vague and elusive, powerful force to overpower it. And that's not us. This, I don't think anybody can argue that addiction, alcoholism is a real power that renders people dead. And ultimately powerless, dead, inanimate, gone, overpowered, totally. Now, let me tell you about my spiritual experience. Well, I've had a lot of them. And I'm sure you have too, have had some spiritual experiences in your life. Tell me about them in the chat box there. One of my spiritual awakening, I believe, happened in the car in a parking lot, asking my current sponsor to be my sponsor 7 months ago, when he asked me 3 questions. He said, well, do you think you're God? And I said, no. And he's like, good. Then stop treating your opinions and your decisions like they are the best thing to do and the be all end all. He also said, how do you envision God? If you were to believe in God, how would you envision? And I said, an all-powerful, incomprehensible thing that I can't even describe, but is incomprehensibly divine, powerful. It's not a bearded guy with sandals. It's not a she, it's not a he, it's just an it, the universe. And he's like, well, good, that's a good start. And we're going to practice in the 3rd step to hand your will and your life over to the care of that. And that was a full leap of faith for me, and it continues to be. It's not like I'm going to a desk downtown and handing my will and my life over to the care of a clerksman, and it's a tangible thing. I continue to take to my knees, like Bonnie says, and say, God's will be done, not mine. That, it's being revealed to me, is, if not the most important part of recovery, it is a very important part to stop going on your own will. Our own will takes us to the liquor store. Our own will takes us to jails and institutions and that other thing called death. Our own will hasn't worked. My own will hasn't worked for, you know what I'm saying? You may say, James, speak for yourself. My will is powerful. I am awesome. We all have the right to our own opinions, but I have come to realize that my opinions don't get me shit. They get me drunk, they get me in trouble, they get me dumped, they get me homeless, they get me comas, they get me seizures. My own opinions that I hold so high, or held so high, got me, they didn't, you know what I mean? It's facts and the acceptance of that leads to recovery. We begin to recover when we accept facts. Fact number 1, I am powerless over alcohol and my life has become unmanageable. Bonnie says, it took me to my knees. Then legals forced me into outpatient rehab. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I am almost a year and a half sober now. Hell yeah, Bonnie. There's a saying in the rooms, it doesn't matter how we got here. It doesn't matter how we got here. A friend of mine, 28 years sober, said 28 years ago I came here on a court order and I was going to prove you guys wrong. AAers. He came to that same room. That room has been there. Alcoholics have been gathering in the same room for 30 years. Just no leader, just other alcoholics gathering, making coffee, chairing the meeting, setting up the chairs. No leader, no authority, just alcoholics gathering for 30 years on Mondays and Thursdays. If it wasn't there, I don't know where I would be. Probably my best assessment is dead or in prison. And you guys can feel that because you probably experienced the same. And when you say blessing in disguise, that's what I mean by we can't trust our opinions. Your opinion was obviously, I don't want to go to outpatient rehab. Sometimes people go to jail and that's a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in a coma for 3 months, but that coma turned out to be a step in my recovery. So I've come to realize after I woke up that I really never have known what I really need, and a power greater than ourselves, whom I choose to call God, does. So every day I say, thy will be done. Essentially, that just means I'm going to accept and work with whatever reality brings me today. And some people call that God's will. I choose to because that's what works. O-Dog is headed to men's detox tomorrow, 8 a.m. Detox, men's, tomorrow. What, if you don't mind me asking, what are you detoxing from? because I've been to 7 different detoxes up and down the East Coast, and I think all of them required me to be drunk. That is great. Alcohol detox. Intake is all done. Is that when they made you blow into a breathalyzer? Well, just make it to that detox, dog. Baby steps. I love detox, to be honest. 7-day inpatient detox. There's food, there's puzzles, there's AA meetings. You wear slippers and scrubs. There's no way you're getting out of there, so there's no booze, there's no temptation. You just rest and eat. You take your vitamins. You know what I mean? I love detox. And O-Dog, I don't want to be spitting unsolicited advice or anything, but I'll tell you what I did the one time it worked is when I stepped out of detox and into an AA meeting or into inpatient rehab. And detox is low-key fun. Got insurance East Side today. They said be there no later than 10 a.m. inpatient in the same building. So you're going to inpatient right after. Good. When you what I had to learn the hard way was they mean what they. It's the total truth that the people that make it are the ones that step out of inpatient rehab and into a program of AA. I will not tell you to do that, but I will tell you that that's what worked for me. Hey, what's up, John Venturini? Kevin W. joined your channel for a while during pandemic. Since then, I've been in and out of AA. Half measures and maintenance programs with other substances have led me back to the bottle. Tomorrow, day 1. Thank you for that experience. That's experience that we can use. That maintenance program he's talking about, marijuana maintenance, I've tried the same thing. Sure, it has its benefits, but for this addict, me, it has one huge detriment, and that is my mental disease of obsession to alter my mind. And I was smoking all day from when I woke up to when I went to bed. Y'all know that story. I'm happy for you, Kevin. Welcome back. Day 1. John loves a 1,000-piece puzzle of rotisserie chicken. O-Dog. All set up for sober living afterwards. So you got the plan. I like that. Don't do it all on your own, bro. Even if you can for a while. I've done it for a while, but we are a power that is limited and it runs out, and that's what we don't want. I went straight from the hospital into AA, Gail says, and it has helped me. Word. That's experience we can use as well. That's when it worked for me as well. As an alcoholic of my type, which has come to be called helpless, hopeless, dead. I was pronounced a dead alcoholic twice. Medically. For me, Alcoholics Anonymous is where I belong. Yeah, O-Dog. Another thing that works for me is treating sobriety and recovery like the greatest adventure and the greatest high on earth. We get stoked for stuff, we addicts, don't we? Well, I got stoked for sobriety and I got stoked for skimbledy bimbers, recovery. So that's good you're getting excited about it. Sober living, That's good. It gets toxic in those places sometimes. I've had my meds stolen. I've had bed bugs. I've had potential stabbing. Addicts, alcoholics, we're sick. There's going to be some sick people in there. That's why they say principles before personalities. When you get fed up with all the alcoholics and addicts and your sober living and your detox and your rehab, principles before personalities. Remember why you're there. It's a higher purpose. You don't have to like everybody. They don't have to like you. But they ain't stealing my meds, I'll tell you that. It wasn't even anything that could get you high. They were just stealing it just in case. This guy that was in this halfway house down in Fort Lauderdale. Well, welcome, Kevin. I'm happy to hear it. O-Dog just experienced the medical weed, same experience as you. Can't do it. That's very honest of you and very courageous of you to admit. That's the truth. That's what we talk about, honest. Honesty is the very first principle. HOW, how do you recover? Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Sure, weed is nice and fluffy and everybody loves it and blah, 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 blah. Not for this addict. I'll smoke all the weed. And I ain't lying. I tried not to. I ended up growing it. Pounds upon pounds upon pounds. Circulating around my daily life. So, O-Dog, that is very courageous and honest of you, and I'm impressed. And stick to it. Your addiction's gonna lie to you when you feel better, and it's gonna be like, nah, man, you didn't think that. You're good now. You can smoke it now. It's trying to get back to that drug of choice, and it will. It'll be like, why don't you just smoke the weed, man? I mean, we were never really addicted to weed anyway. It's harmless. Except it'll be talking in your voice, in your head, and you know what I mean? And it will lead, it's on a mission to get back to your drug of choice, which I think you said is alcohol. That's definitely it for me. And I'll do all the drugs other than alcohol on my way back to alcohol, and I won't even be knowing it. I won't even know I'm on the path to alcohol. I won't even know it. That's the disease. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. Bonnie says, I detoxed in the hospital for 3 days, then straight to outpatient rehab for 6 months. Bada bing, bang, boom. Bonnie's got a plan in the room. Mike Tucker, still feeling good off the SSRI? I am. I'm feeling amazing. Due to my spiritual experience, paradigm shift in the way that I perceive the world, it's a gift that all I had to do was unwrap and use. It's a gift. I've been off of Prozac probably, I don't even know how many months, probably 2 or 3. O-Dog, I got scabies at one detox before, have scars from it. Also got bed bugs. Got to be willing to do whatever it takes. Word! Bro, you're on the right track. I can hear it in your words, bro. You got to do whatever it takes. And that's what I was doing too, through all the bed bugs, through all the crackhead people. That guy stole my money and then was bringing alcohol into they called it a halfway house, but it was a scam. Anyway, I booted his ass out. I must have had the power of God in me, because I don't like confrontation. But I took a stand and threw all his shit out the window. You got to do whatever it takes. That's absolutely right. God knows we do whatever it takes to get to the liquor store in a blizzard without a car. And you got to carry these cases of beer and cases of liquor back. This is a personal story of mine, if you can't tell. Rabies at Mike's detox. Rabies. Shut up, Mike. You don't go to detox. You think you're all powerful. Bonnie, I am a much happier person now. My health is much better and my frame of mind is good. But I can never become complacent. True that. Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to be so rude. You were probably just telling a joke. It's hard to tell through text sometimes. But, it could be perceived that, you know what I mean? You're just like taking this as a joke. My man got scabies. Do you know what scabies are? Scabies, shingles. Oh wait, scabies are bugs, I think. And bed bugs ain't no joke anyway. Bed bugs, I got bed bugs in Fort Lauderdale. I had 40 bites and a fever. And these things are welts, and they itch worse than poison ivy, worse than anything you've ever itched before. Mike Tucker says, I can honestly say I don't miss alcohol. I no longer associate it with pleasure, only pain. Word. Good for you, man. That didn't do it for me. And I know a bunch of stories where that didn't do it for them either. There comes a time where we have no mental defense against the first drink. That's what I've been taught. That's what I have experienced. When the two matched up, what I've been taught from the program and what I've experienced, that's when it's a fact, Jack. Oh, dog, yeah, man. It was so brutal. Bed bugs suck, but scabies is, damn, times 10,000. So brutal, itching and burning. Oh, yeah, I still went back out. For real. Yeah, man. We've all sworn off booze. I can do without it. Ain't no damn way I'm ever gonna drink again. Next day, 5 o'clock, working on a blackout. Or a year later, exactly in one of my cases, or 8 years later. And I'm sure there's stories of people doing it on self-will for the rest of their lives, but I'm also sure that's probably where the term dry drunk comes from. You know, the guy who hasn't had a spiritual awakening or a paradigm shift in the way he acts or thinks, and he is a straight up asshole. He or she, because we're dealing with our problem without the perceived solution, which was alcohol. So now you're just a problem without a solution. So you're restless, irritable, discontent, lonely, isolating, alienating, judgmental, cynical, just mean, or sad, or both. That's a dry drunk. So yeah, if we shook hands and you said, I bet you can't not drink for 10 years, I could do it. There's going to be some white knuckles. My white knuckles from gripping my hands so hard, the blood isn't getting to my knuckles all those years, and it's not going to be a good life. I know this from experience and from what more experienced people have taught me. Hey, what's up, Noah? How you doing today? Oh, dog. Cool thing is, right now I'm laying in bed talking to you, not smoking weed, not doing drugs, not getting that last one in me. I'm grateful for this. Oh, word. And then you're going to detox. Yeah, there always is that last one, isn't there? No drink. Got my ass back in AA. Good for you. Check it out. See if it works. Give it your all. I mean, I have an uncle who doesn't go to AA. I don't know. I don't think he goes to AA. He quit drinking from the Catholic Church, his spirituality, his religion, his connection with God, his faith. which I'm now learning was the puzzle piece in my 25-year recovery that has worked, is an acceptance or just an awakening to the fact that my opinions and my ideas about addiction have gotten me drunk. That doesn't, used to. Before I handed my will in my life and began to accept with an open mind and willing to do things that wiser people who came before me teach me, power is greater than myself. I was just, my own thoughts were running the show. And this wasn't my fault. This was before a spiritual awakening. I literally feel like, where was I? I literally feel like I have woken up. Oh dog, I usually run it till the wheels fall off, and I'll literally start my car with a flat tire and still go get what I need, hoping I don't get pulled for driving on a flat. Yeah, man, like I said, we do whatever it takes to get that booze. We better do whatever it takes to get that sustainable recovery. And that spiritual awakening. That's why I was so desperate this time, so restless, irritable, and discontent, that I came in and I said, what about this God thing? I've been an agnostic my entire life. I need a God of my understanding. I need to do step 3. I need to do step 11 with God. And that's when my sponsor said, how do you see God? Do you think you are God? And have you ever prayed for the willingness to believe? And I said, no. And I described my God of my understanding. And he said, put your faith in that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's move on to step 4. And since that day, it has grown. And that's for me. And I was a very opinionated agnostic. Oh dog, ready to have these 1,000-pound chains removed from my nose. Well, good. Noah, what stuff have you done today? Me? Are you asking me? Mike Tucker. Oh dog. James, if you have days where you question if what you are doing on YouTube is helping people or not, well, I say yes. You're the first of 2 I watch live recovery channels, so don't stop what you're doing. Thank you, oh dog. I do realize it helps people. However, upon my spiritual awakening, I realize I am faulty. I'm a human being, and I can get to going about expressing my opinions and telling you about your opinions too. That's just what humans do. Was my problem, and that's a lot of people's problems, alcoholic, addict, or not. Christopher, leave it for the willingness to be willing to be willing. It's about commitment. Willingness is the W in HOW, how to recover. Willingness. We have to be willing to see the world in a different way. We have to be willing to change our mind. We have to be willing to let go of our convictions, our decisions, our opinions. We have to be willing to try another way. That's the point of the white chip. We have to be willing to change. So I prayed for the willingness to believe in God, and I believe in God. And I rarely say that because when people said the G word to me when I was an agnostic, I don't know where I was when I was reading the big book before, because it says God a lot. There's a potential weather god. Yes, you, James. Like, what did you do today? Like, for me, I just watched some TV, did an AA movie, and chilled. So you didn't go to an AA meeting. Today I went to a meeting. Today I went to a favor meeting. Faces and Voices of Recovery, because I'm practicing open-mindedness And also, it's a potential job opportunity for when I get my peer support specialist certification in 2 months. But I'll tell you what else I did after I read these comments. Bonnie, I went to Grateful Dead tribute band concert down at the beach last night. It was fun. I did it and didn't even have a beer. Still enjoyed the music. The people had fun. At the favor meeting today, somebody said he's seen Alice Cooper. I forget how many times he says, but it was close to 10. He said, and he was drunk the entire time. He's in recovery now. He saw Alice Cooper. He said, he said out loud, I've never seen this band before. He has seen Alice Cooper damn near 10 times, and one time sober, he enjoyed it so much. He basically, he wasn't seeing the show, he was experiencing it for once. You know what I mean? Mike Tucker says, my finances have improved drastically since I stopped drinking. I know, right? It's like another paycheck starts coming in. If you were a smoker, a cigarette smoker, there's a whole other paycheck coming in. It's like your income doubles. And you don't even have to pay taxes. That money that you were paying taxes on, you're saving it. Those taxes they can't take away from you. That's a good point. The money you now have that you used to spend on drinking, the tax man can't take that tax. That's funny. I'm gonna think about that after the stream. The one thing the tax man can't tax is the money you save from quitting drinking, and it's a lot. Mike's gonna buy another house. Good for you, Mike. Noah says, no, I did go to an AA. I didn't mean to say movie. Oh, right on. Cool. Don't lie now. A paradigm shift means we stop lying. Honesty is the first principle. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You have the ability. Show up and ask for the guidance. There are solutions. Christopher Leavitt dropping them knowledges. It's so wild how one doesn't work without the next. Without honesty, we can't be open-minded. Without open-mindedness and honesty, we can't muster up the willingness. Yeah, 12 steps come in order for a reason. I read today that honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness are indispensable. I think it was in the daily reflection today. Let's read it. For those of you who don't know, I put the daily reflection up in the community tab of this channel. So check it out. July 2nd, Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflection, the Heart of True Sobriety. We find that no one need have difficulty with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery, but these are indispensable. A random alcoholic in the back half of the book, in one of the 4 editions, wrote this: am I honest enough to accept myself as I am and let this be the me that I let other people see? Do I have the willingness to go to any length, to do whatever is necessary to stay sober? Do I have the open-mindedness to hear what I have to hear, to think what I have to think, and to feel what I have to feel? If my answer to these questions is yes, I know enough about the spirituality of the program to stay sober. As I continue to work the 12 steps, I move on to the heart of true sobriety, serenity with myself, with others, and with God as I understand Him. This guy's having a spiritual awakening. He didn't think those things before. He thinks them now. Same with me. I'll tell you, it works. I guess I'm the only one who doesn't spend money on alcohol, Noah says. I just go into the store, take the bar scanner off, and walk out. Yeah, I used to steal when I was 17 too. I used to lie, cheat, and steal. Drinking will have you do all those things. Well, you know, who decides to do that, Noah? Is that God's will or yours? Mike Tucker, and I used to miss work a lot, make up excuses for why I couldn't work. Really, I was just sick and hungover. For real. Sometimes my hangovers were so bad they would just last a couple days. They would last a couple days. For real. And that progresses. It's progressing right now, even when you're not drinking. Christopher Levitt. You need to ask, write, and recognize your malady. That's one thing I don't do is, I have wrote when I was working the steps, I write as suggested that you do, but this is such it's a resentment I have for myself that I'm a writer who doesn't write. Let's see what this microphone doesn't pick up good sound, man, because it's got all kinds of compressors and stuff on it. JV, I got your text, but I can't, you won't be able to hear it. Oh shit. See, you can't hear that, can you? Yeah. I'm sending it to my sister. She'll know because we went through that. That was crazy. Thanks, JB. Noah says, I finally felt bad for stealing, though, and because I did feel pretty damn sick the day after drinking over a pint of booze, and I'm glad I didn't take any more booze. Hey, what's up, Daniel Poppycock? Somebody asked where you were. Habibis. Mike says, I actually think I was at the edge of delirium tremens a couple times and was confusing it with a hangover. Yeah, that can also be dehydration. I learned far too late that Pedialyte, Propel, or Gatorade, or pickle juice, or even milk can rehydrate you with electrolytes and hydration. And a lot of those symptoms come from dehydration, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm going to share that with my sister, JV. She'll get a kick out of that, too. Because we make fun of that bed bugs. Because I was going crazy. You think I get rageful and passionate on here? Just wait till I start talking about bed bugs, especially when I had them. I was like, how come nobody told me that bed bugs, don't let the bed bugs bite, wasn't just a saying people say to their kids when they go to bed? Bed bugs are real? How come nobody told me this? I thought don't let the bed bugs bite was a saying, a playful saying. If I had known about bed bugs back then, I wouldn't have been able to sleep as a 5-year-old. You tell me don't let the bed bugs bite. I was on a tyrannical raid. Kopic says slept all day till 1. Today my friend's cat died, so we got shroomed up, stoned, and just was up too late. Kopic, careful, man. there's some people on here trying to quit weed. And that can trigger some people. You know what I mean? So, you gotta chill with that. Cause like we're a bunch of addicts, and whether you think you are or not, you're talking to a bunch of addicts that at any given second, they can go from I'm not smoking weed to, oh, well, shit. The way Daniel put it doesn't sound so bad. That's the way this shit works, man. So please just chill back on that. No nicotine, no weed. I thought you said stoned. For 2 days now. Good job. Well, I mean, I'm happy for you. Pure laziness. Yeah, that'll keep you away from it for a while. The lack of sleep. That's God doing for you what you could not do for yourself, if you ask me. Which I know you did, and you will, or you meant to. 40 bites and a fever. Fort Lauderdale and bed bugs. Christopher Levitt and lack of sleep. Supplements help. True. A lot of delirium tremens symptoms are similar to lack of sleep and dehydration and malnutrition. I think you can hallucinate bed bugs too if you're withdrawing. Yeah, you can hallucinate everything. Literally. DTs are no joke. Nope, delirium tremens are no joke. Look up Sober James delirium tremens if you would like to learn or hear personal stories about DTs and delirium tremens. Kabik says, I ain't had any for 2 days before that and not smoked at the moment. Well, good for you. 1 day at a time until you get 3. 1 day at a time before you know it, you got 4. Yeah, man, the Soberdelic James channel was different. I was being irresponsible. That's what I'm talking about my own opinions. I am not sticking to my own opinions. The reason the reason I asked you not to talk about that stuff is not because my opinion is it could be bad. It is through immense experience and the experience of others, I have learned that can be triggering. It's not my opinion that may be bad. I've been sticking to the facts lately. And the fact is, you can't, let's not, you can't be talking about getting high and shit around a bunch of addicts that are trying to recover. I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying. Sleeping till 1 a.m. Daniel works nights, right? I love my security job, by the way, Daniel. Pat Crawford, anyone tapering down from Suboxone? I never had, but my sister Leanne was on it for a while. She's now dead of a heroin overdose. I used to have my opinions about methadone and Suboxone. I've done methadone to get high, but I can't say anything about Suboxone or methadone for the purpose of coming off of heroin because I don't have experience with it. But I will tell you that my little sister Leanne died this year from a heroin overdose and was struggling with it for her adult life. And she was also using the system for Suboxone and methadone. And if you just say she's a scumbag because she was using the government, man, I will fuck you up. My sister was crafty. And she was addicted. She was sick. So I don't have any experience with it, but I do know my little sister died and she had Suboxone and methadone, trying to recover from heroin most of her adult life. Miss Ford says, I've always been wired to be the last one to bed, but the last one up. Michael, I was having some tremens before just thinking about all the stuff going on in my life. Noah says it's depressing when you know that no matter how hard you achieve your reward system, it'll never be as good as the high from your drug of choice. That's why people just stay depressed and stay the same. Try to read what you just said, Noah, and realize that it is all your opinion. It's false. It's false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R, fear. So try to look at what you just read objectively, Noah. It's depressing when you know that no matter how hard you achieve your reward system, it'll never be as good as a high from your drug of choice. That's why people stay depressed and stay the same. You're saying sobriety will never be as good as drugs. I'm guessing. First of all, are you a genie or a gypsy? Can you tell the future? Are you literally the only person in the history of human beings that can see into the future? Because if you are, man, we got to talk, because we can make some money. The answer is no. So that isn't a fact. When you know that no matter how hard you, I don't know what, I do know what you mean. Just look at it like this, man. You don't know. And the word never, there's a saying about that. I'm sure you've heard it. Never say never. You know what I'm saying? Kopic says, I've never actually enjoyed drugs, to be honest, so sobriety has always been much more enjoyable than using coke or ket. Yo, take that to the bank and cash it, Kopic. That's one of the most powerful things I use to get sober, is concentrating on the benefits of sobriety. I said today at that meeting, I opened up with what I shared with this sentence. There are many beautiful things about recovery. I made sure I said that. Trust me, bro. I've said, Noah, take the cotton out of your ears, put it in your mouth, buddy. I've said multiple times, sobriety and recovery and the regaining of your life is the best high on earth. It is better than all other highs that I've experienced combined. And I heard somebody else say today, I've had much more fun in recovery than I have in my drinking days. You may say something like, I thought to myself, man, I had a lot of fun some of those times, but I can't remember them. I couldn't tell you. I could maybe try to remember some stories about drinking when I had a blast. But here's the thing. You're not experiencing it. You're not experiencing that Rob Zombie concert that comes to my mind, that blew my mind and shit, but I was still drinking. You're not experiencing it. You're just seeing it. You're seeing the show. You're seeing life go by. You're seeing life happen. When you quit, you experience life and therefore grow. There's going to be some pain, but there's also joy. That's called life. When we're drinking and using, we just see life. When we go to a concert, when we're drinking and using, we just see stuff. We have fun, but it's like we're just seeing ourselves have fun. We're not experiencing it. I didn't bring that experience back from, you know what I'm saying, any concert I've ever been to drunk, or any wonderful blast time that I've had. Yeah, I know that we seem to be having a blast. Yeah. People, when they're drunk, they seem to be having a blast. Sure they are. But that moment doesn't come down in history with you. It doesn't become a part of you. Half of them I don't even remember. It doesn't become a part of you. You're not growing, you're not living, you're not alive. You know what I'm saying? So I love you, Noah, but just read what you wrote and realize that those are your opinions, and your opinions are also the same ones that had you snorting dust from your dresser, buddy. I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I'm just saying. Don't trust your opinions. Get a sponsor and ask him what he thinks about that. Get a sponsor who's had the spiritual awakening and has been sober for a long time, preferably an older guy, and ask him, what do you think about this statement? Because you know what you're doing? You're running it by a sane mind. I think it was off the floor, behind his dresser. You told that story, Noah. Just think about it. That's the same brain that's making these opinions about sobriety and recovery. That's the same brain that's knocking you back into the stone age of being stoned. That's the same brain that's keeping you in your pain. You got to run it by a brain that is awoke, that has had a spiritual awakening. You got to run it by a brain that has had a spiritual awakening, one that has had a paradigm shift. Because I used to think that way too. It's called strategic hopelessness. When I used to say, I'm an alcoholic, of course I'm going to drink. I'm going to drink and probably die drunk. You ask me why I drink? I'm an alcoholic. It doesn't get any better, so I'm just going to drink. You know what I mean? Life isn't great on hard drugs, so I don't see how anybody would prefer that state, Kopic says. Maybe that I never used any super hard shit like opiates or meth. Mike Tucker says a healthy feeling of rewards is way better. You're doing well for yourself and not harming yourself. It's the real McCoy of happiness versus the fake synthetic pleasure of substances. Pleasure is the lowest form of satisfaction we can get. You're absolutely right, Mike. Christopher Levitt had fun, but you can't hold on. It blurs and it's convoluted and it disappears. It's not a part of you. I had fun. I went to Woodstock 99. I've been to shows upon the wazoo. I used to be in raves. There used to be fun. But none of that is a part of me. These experiences that I'm experiencing now in recovery are becoming a part of me. The uncomfort of going to a social event and getting over it and facing my fears about being uncomfortable in my own skin and all that. You're now growing again. That was what I said today at the meeting was there are a lot of beautiful parts of recovery. But one of my favorites is you begin to grow again. You begin to learn and you begin to grow as a person. Mike Tucker, Noah is referring to a burnout reward system, I think, which in that case, not even your drug works anymore. No, you're not an idiot. You're sick with addiction, the disease of addiction. You're sick. That's why you get a sponsor, because that person, ideally, is not sick. You run everything. You would have called him that day and said, should I snort this dust behind my dresser? And he would have said, well, what do you think? And you would have realized at that moment that you do have a choice, and that's the job of your sponsor, to bring you into an awakening. People just want to rub it in my face that I snorted dust at my stepdad. Wouldn't say much to that, then I yell at me, so fuck myself. You're sick, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not your fault. I'm not trying to rub it in your face. I'm just saying, when you have these bright ideas about how sobriety is not going to work, your reward system isn't going to be blah, 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 just realize that's the same brain that created the idea to do that, to walk 5 miles to the liquor store, to get you into this mess. It's not an insult. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a revelation. My ideas, I'm not going to use my ideas, at least right now. I'm going to use my sponsor's ideas. I'm going to use James's ideas. If you like the way I'm living, if you like the way I talk about spirituality, if you see it in me, something you want for your recovery, then listen to what I've done to get what I've got. If you want what you have now, you continue to do what you have done. And that's the trick, put in simple words. James Walls, how's it going? Get a sponsor, brother. Right now, you're alone in a sea of just sea monsters that will swallow you without even chewing you up. They will bite you in half, and you'll be floating there half a man for years before you finally die. It's scary. Take the help of that boat that passes by and don't look at it and in your own opinion say, you know what, that boat doesn't look very comfortable. I don't know about that boat. That's essentially what we addicts do. We're in hell, burning alive in our own addiction. And, the hand of God comes down and says, all you have to do is take my hand. And you look up and you're just like, I don't know about it. It looks kind of bright up there. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. I don't know about this. It's your own opinions that are going to keep you in hell. You know what I mean? And that's just another sober James analogy coming at you. TM, restricted. Copyright. Christopher Levitt, solvable. You don't have to keep it going. It's hard at first. Bonnie said, keep trying. Go to meetings and talk to people. Ask them how they did it and follow their path. We already know, Noah and anybody else out there that's struggling, we already know how we did what we did to get where we are right now, misery. So stop doing those things. Of course, it's simple, but not easy. It's simple, but not easy. Simple meaning it's not complicated. Not easy meaning it's difficult. Noah says, I watched this one unprofessional guy say AA is not for everybody and that doing it by yourself is better. Well, good. You don't buy that because it's crap. Let's put it this way. Number one, AA is 89 years old. Was that guy 89 years old? That's one way you could do it. I knew you'd like that, JV. What's up, Kimberly? Kimmy? I know from immense experience that I cannot do it by myself, by my willpower, by my own ideas and opinions and cynicism, and I can't do it. I've tried every which way but loose. I cannot do it. Period. End of story. That's why they call the white chip the chip of surrender. You surrender your opinions and your ideas over. You surrender. You're done fighting. Because, bro, doing it yourself is a fight. And it's not a good one either. You get your ass whooped. I got my ass whooped constantly. I was medically dead a couple times. Seizures, comas. I've had 7 concussions. I got a freaking tracheotomy scar, and that's not even all my scars. I've been to detox 7 times, rehab 3 times, jails up and down the East Coast. Got my ass whooped trying to do it myself over decades. And I am no fool, and I am no pussy. I'm tough, I'm intelligent. I still couldn't do it. I'm just saying. Then, when AA literature comes along, it says, no human power can relieve you of your alcoholism. And I'm like, damn. I prove it to myself, and then the literature, which is 89 years old, says it. That is now a fact. And, that's all I got to say about that. Whoever said that, send them my way. No, don't send them my way. I'm trying to get out of, preaching and shit. But that's all true. Everything I just told you is true, and that's not even a percentage. I mean, it is literally a percentage, but it's not even a significant percentage of my life in addiction and recovery. You can do it alone, but it won't last. We are limited. That is a fact of biology, of science. If we weren't limited, we wouldn't die. We are limited. Our willpower is limited. I've been called by others the strongest willpower they've ever seen. Your willpower is impressive. I no longer take that as a compliment. That shit got me drunk and kept me out so long. Yeah, my willpower is impressive. It kept me drinking for 25 years. Even when I was trying to quit with my willpower, it was taking me back to the liquor store. I'm still tossing around the theory of the stronger the willpower, the stronger the alcoholism. And it will be revealed to me whether or not that is a fact. Noah says, well, no, the guy was actually still a drunk saying to not go to AA, it doesn't help anyone and it's BS. Yeah, he's drunk. I love the people that say that. You say, oh, word? When was your last meeting? Oh, I've never been to a meeting. It's bullshit. So, contempt prior to investigation will keep a man in everlasting ignorance. Those words are in the book. Ignorance, the definition of without knowledge. So that guy's definitely talking about what he doesn't know about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. These people that are like, AA's BS, man. Bro, I go to a meeting and have been, these past 7 months, I've been to a meeting or 2 a day for 7 months. And someone who's never been to a meeting ever is going to tell me about AA? Most of the people, and then there's been times in my life where I stopped going to AA, but I never once said it's BS. I never once, because I knew better. I just said, you know what, I'm not feeling it. The people there are bullshit. Yes, the people in AA are going to be bullshit. The people at the grocery store can be bullshit. The people outside right now can be bullshit. The people at school, the people at work. That's why in AA it says principles before personalities. If you think you don't like yourself because when you're an alcoholic, you think a room full of alcoholics is going to be even any better? The ones in AA, there are good meetings and there's like not so good meetings. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who I'm talking to, Miss Ford. I'm talking to that guy that Noah was talking to. I have done that. Vince P. Just look up Sober James Alcohol Withdrawal. I don't think there's a lot of people that don't know how many videos I have. Look up Sober James Alcohol Withdrawal in a different window or maybe after the stream or something. Or I could play it right now. Shit, I got it saved on my hard drive. But I have a playlist: alcohol detox, alcohol withdrawal, and delirium tremens. But I want to start making videos again. My life is coming together. Ever since I dured the third step, gave my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood it, my life has been coming together, and it's been just smooth, easygoing ride. Not always, but it's just like, it is what it is, man, you know? I don't know if I'm ever gonna have a girlfriend, you know? I don't know if I'm ever gonna have a career I like, and, you know, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be, you know. And I accepted that. Next thing I know, I got a job at the zoo, and all I do is chill in AC and just chill. And I got girls looking my way and shit. But, you know, that sounds conceited. I'm just saying, I let go of my will, and everything I need is definitely provided right now. And what I want, whether I thought about it or not, they're coming my way too. And it does take time. Bonnie, who says, most have forgiven me, but few still won't. It's not on your time. What we want is the problem. You want it now. You want that forgiveness now. You want that drink now, too. What we want is often the problem. It's God's time when they forgive you. If they never forgive you, you say, God's will be done. I tried. Making amends, if that's what you're talking about, Bonnie, is for you. Sure, it's for the other person too, but it's for you, mostly. You clean your side of the street. If they say F off, slam the door in your face, you just clean your side of the street. What they're doing is their thing. That's their side of the street. And I know if you want them back in your life, that can be hard. But guess what? What we want isn't the dawn. It isn't the omega. It isn't what rules the universe. What we want is often horrible for us. People talk about blessings in disguise. For all you know, these people you want to forgive you now, for all we know, which is next to nothing, when they do forgive you, it could set into effect a domino effect, a butterfly effect, and you will come back and say, that was a blessing in disguise that they didn't forgive me when I wanted them to. And that's how it's been working. And if it doesn't, and they don't forgive you, God's will be done. I did my part. And you let it go. Kimmy, no worries. Mike Tucker, back before I had even started drinking when I was like 13, I think when I'm old, I won't drink. I felt my life, it would be better if I didn't get involved in drinking. I said the same thing about drugs in science class in middle school. It wasn't very long after that I was sniffing on that rubber cement, that glue, because it made me feel kind of funny. Shows you how much you knew. Shows you how much I knew. That's what I like to tell people when they tell me AA is BS. Or they tell me, you know what, I don't really want to. I say, yeah, opinions are great. You know who else has opinions? 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds will go on and on about what they want, what they like, how the world is, and what's what. Guess who else will? An alcoholic. Humans will. I'm not claiming a monopoly on this kind of ignorance. Human beings will claim shit is because they think that. Mike Tucker said, I don't want anything to do with drinking when he was like 13. Years later, he slept in a bush. James said in science class in middle school, I don't want any part of drugs. It might have been months later. I was sniffing rubber cement on my way to the harder stuff. Opinions are shit. Opinions are shit. You know, opinions are a lot like well, shit, I just made a meme that and posted it on the channel. Well, whatever. Opinions, man, opinions are just like, they're shit, man. I don't know what good opinions are. They create your personality. Well, you know, okay. I don't know. That's a whole other, that we'll talk about opinions on a different stream. But you know who else has opinions? 4-year-olds. Anytime somebody tells you what they think and why their shit doesn't stink and why you should do something and this, that, or the other thing, if they don't back it up with something that doesn't suggest it is just their opinion, you say, you know who else has opinions? 4-year-olds. I just think that's so funny. Made that up. That's my ego bragging. Millions have recovered, Christopher says. You can have opinions, but set them aside in the beginning. Easy does it, but move forward. A good sponsor helps. Ask around. Said that at that meeting today. Easy does it, but do it. A good sponsor helps. A good sponsor could be, it's not in the book, that the sponsorship is not in the book. I don't know why, and I don't even know why. There's no point in saying that, because a sponsor is pretty much necessary. We are sick. We cannot do, especially in the beginning, on our own. Noah says that guy has a live stream just like James, tells everybody not to go to the AA program and that it won't help shit. And here AA is saying, it doesn't matter how much you believe in AA. Don't go preaching it from a mountaintop. We are attraction, not promotion. And, you know, my opinions for all these years and still kind of are, there's people out there that bash AA and they're getting away with it. Just like a certain someone in a certain office lies through his teeth and gets away with it. People believe that shit. It's dangerous. Why do you think I watch what I say on here? I am all about the truth. And so that shit pisses me off, Noah. But what did I talk about I learned yesterday? Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't need to be defended. It is a power greater than me that has brought me back from the brink of death multiple times. It's more than twice my age, and I'm 43. And I think I need to defend it. It's obviously a power great enough to defend itself. Its principles, its traditions have lasted 89 years. It doesn't need defended. You look at the comment section of some of those videos. You'll hear recovering alcoholics say, "Well, I'll see you in a meeting sometime, buddy. I'll keep a chair open for you." Because, dude, I've had that rebellious, just asshole view on recovery and AA and anything. I said, you know, but I said before, I never once went totally against AA. I would go against the personalities and I would be scared. But I know AA. I've been going through the program. I've been going through the rooms in mad different states. One time on a nuclear aircraft carrier in the middle of the Persian Gulf, I went to an AA meeting. I've been to meetings all around the world. And the difference between me and that guy is he has not. And when I was not going to AA, it was because I was scared. My addiction was keeping me away from AA. My addiction was scared because with AA, your addiction is not powerful. It doesn't want to fade and fizzle. It will convince you, it will do whatever it takes to keep you away from recovery, and especially Alcoholics Anonymous, in my experience. There are some really good people and some take a long time. That's why it's one day at a time. That's also why it says sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. And Noah says this guy claims that thinking for yourself works. Well, let's look at the evidence. You can say a lot of things, it doesn't make it true. You know, I could put a blindfold on you and tell you I'm feeding you a gummy bear or a cupcake or a Twinkie, and it could just be literally a human turd. It doesn't change the fact that it's a human turd. Your ass is still eating it. And it's your choice. What that guy's saying is a turd. That guy is a turd. Even at my worst, I still said AA is the way to go. Even when I was drunk off my ass, I was still like, oh, fuck, well, I'm not ready to go back. I don't know. God willing, I make it back. It's hard. It's difficult. You grow. Growing's difficult. But anyway, AA doesn't need defense, especially by just little old me anyway. Let's see. I'm not going to read any more about that guy, Noah, because I get all worked up. Christopher said, I had so many beers under a bridge. I had many in high society. For real. We all got opinions, just like we all got a booty. Well, I know this one chick, poor thing. No ass at all. It's the traditions that happened in the 50s because there was conflict within the society. Personalities were getting above principles. That's why one of the traditions is principles before personalities. The ism is real in alcoholism, and I'll just add that it's not a wasm either. We got to deal with that ism even when we're not drinking. And it's through a daily reprieve that I have found that ism, maybe it's more like an isn'tum. But it'll never be a wasm. I know this from immense experience and hearing the experience of others. It's not and it'll never be a wasm. You may think it like I did after 4 years going to AA. I said, man, you know, I did the first step. I'm powerless over alcohol in my life, so I'm never going back. So I'm just going to stop going to AA. Basically called my alcoholism an alcoholism. And it wasn't. It was cunning, baffling, and powerful, and that drink did happen. And then as many as, I'm going to go ahead and estimate here, I don't know, over the course of 6 months, I probably drank, let's see, there's 30 days in a month, maybe 30 drinks a day. 30 times 30 is 90. 90 times 6 on average. 90 times 6 would be 1,800. I had 1,800 drinks more or less in 6 months. Wait, 90 times 6. No. Yeah, that's 1800, right? I don't know. Who knows? I had a ton of drinks. All right, I want to read the more before I go here. Well, damn, Noah, that's some wisdom. Where the hell did you get that? Who's talking through you now? God? Does God have his hand up your ass like a puppet? Working your mouth like a puppet? Well, James, it's like this. We can all do things together and help, or we can all stare at a wall as a unit. Which one is better? Help others or do nothing? Help others. And that guy may not know it, that one you're talking about, but in my little old opinion, and that's what it is, and that's what yours is too, everybody on earth. It's just a little old opinion. I hate to break it to you. But in my little old opinion, that guy's helping people back to a drink is what he's doing. Christopher blew through a ton of money. True that. Mike talked money. He hasn't drank in 5 years. My dude's buying a second house. Getting wiser already, Noah. Good night, Noah. Good night to the rest of you. Christopher, if you want to put some of that money to a good cause, my first tier in the membership is like $3 a month. Just click the join button for anybody who's interested in helping me carry the message. You also get perks. I ain't going to leave you empty-handed. You get exclusive videos, emojis, badges. All right, y'all. I hope this helped. And I hope I didn't slip too much into my own ego and own opinion and own dust in the wind. I'm here every weeknight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll be here tomorrow, and I'll see you here tomorrow. And until then, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing a damn thing if it's in lines with God's will. Peace.